Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today we have a treat. Maja is going to be joining us. She's going to be talking about her health journey. She's lost some weight. She's healed and reversed some things. And yeah, she's still at it. So we're going to get into all of that coming up next. Stay tuned. We're missing a piece of the puzzle. You start getting healthy and you just become a better person.
We need to start focusing more on the individual.
All right, so welcome to the channel. I'm really excited to have you. How you feeling today?
I am feeling amazing, absolutely amazing.
We were just talking earlier, and you're saying that you're currently on a fast. This is day 13, right?
This is day 13 of hopefully 21.
21.
Absolutely.
It's funny because I think there's something special about the 21-day mark. I find that a lot of people who like host fasting sessions and things do the 21 days.
Yeah.
And I know from my personal experience, you have this what I call a shrink week from if you're doing like a 21-day fast, your third week leading up to your 21st day, you have like this period of time where you don't really lose weight, but your body does all this tightening and shrinking. And so I found that the body does very unique things based on how long you fast. So should be fun to see what you experience on this one.
Well, I can't wait till week 3. So we'll see. I'm ready.
Yeah, that's when the clothes start fitting weird. I mean,
Yeah. I've already found some of my clothes are falling off. I'm like, okay, I have an excuse to go shopping now. But
yeah.
I'm gonna wait if we're gonna go through a shrink week.
My brother, my brother John, when we very first started going through this process for him, he was very adamant. He's like, Chris, I'm not buying any clothes until I get to where I need to be.
Yeah, okay.
You know, because he's not a shopper. He doesn't like shopping. He doesn't like wasting money on clothes. So he waited until he had lost like 100 pounds.
Wow.
Before he bought anything.
What was he wearing?
Sweatpants and like big t-shirts. Yeah, just getting by.
I love it.
So I want to really get into this story. To get things started off, there's a couple different parts of your story.
Yes.
But based on what you had posted on the Facebook group, right now you are currently down 190 pounds. Is that right?
Right now, probably a little bit more than that. I'm not stepping on the scale every day because I'm not doing this fast for weight loss in particular.
Right.
But last time I weighed, I was exactly 190 pounds down.
Wow. That's incredible. And that's one of the things that really drew me to you is that I don't see women as often lose almost 200 pounds. And we've got a couple of men who have been on the channel, but I really wanted to get you on because, women feel like they can't do it often like men. Yeah. So I was like, no, we definitely need to have her on. And then you said something else that kind of took me by surprise. You had diabetes and now you don't have diabetes?
I guess we can't say healed, but no, I do not have diabetes anymore.
It's funny because in one of my first interviews with my brother, we were talking about diabetes because he had a diabetic condition.
Yeah.
And I was just like, so you had diabetes and now you don't have it anymore.
Right. Yeah, right. So I no longer struggle with that particular ailment.
Incredible. Okay. So now that the audience knows why they need to listen to this interview, let's get into some of the background information. Where did this whole journey begin for you?
Oh my gosh, this has been a really long journey. So I've always been overweight. So I was overweight even as a child. In fact, my nickname in high school was Buddha.
Oh wow.
Terrible, but that was my nickname. In 2011 is really when my journey started. Just to set the stage, I had, at the time, my son was 1. I had 2 teenage daughters. My husband had just left. I was working full time. I was going to school full time. And I was severely depressed. So I was stressed out. I was depressed. To be honest, I probably thought about suicide every single day. And the only reason I didn't act on it is because I had 3 kids. So like mid 2011-ish, I woke up one morning and my heart rate had essentially doubled. I had a splitting headache. And I remember thinking, waking up, I'm having a heart attack. It was just that dry because I just was in that space. Anyway, went to the hospital and I hadn't been going to the doctor. I was not taking care of myself. I weighed in at 408 pounds. Blood pressure was like 220 over 180. So I was definitely in Strokesville. My blood sugar, I believe, was 500 and something. I don't remember the exact number, but it was in the 500s. And I was having tachycardia, where literally your heart rate doubles.
Wow.
And they could not get an IV in. I was so full of fluid that they just could not get an IV in. Luckily, there was a nurse there. I don't know where she got this from, but she had me like blow into a pen. And like bear down, and it felt like my heart stopped, but it actually just reset and started beating normally. Long story short, the doctor came in and he's going down this whole laundry list of things, and my face was probably just like, I really don't care. I want to go home. I don't care. I was in that space, like I was that person.
Right. Finally,
he stopped and he looked at me and he was like, you're a great candidate for bariatric surgery because you do realize you're going to die if you keep this up. Ironically enough, I had been studying for, I don't know, some months. For whatever reason, I didn't plan on going raw vegan or anything. It just interested me. I started studying this. I left the hospital with 5 different medications, like insulin, something for my heart, all kinds of stuff. And on the way home, I was like, I'm not taking any of this. This is not my life. I'm not having surgery. I'm not doing any of this. It took a while, but I cleaned out my house of all the food. And I said to myself, you can have fruits, nuts, vegetables, and seeds as much as you want. You can eat as much as you want, but that's all you can eat. So I did that for a year. I didn't exercise. I didn't do anything else. That's all I did. And I lost 100 pounds in that year.
Wow.
Just by going raw vegan.
Yeah.
And I did see my mood stabilize a little bit. I had more energy, and there was things physically that I didn't even realize were happening. Like my neck was brown. The inside of my legs were brown. Like my inflammation went away. Like all of that went away inside of a year. I had started going to the doctor that year, and they were like, oh, you're taking your medication. I was like, yeah, I'm taking my medication. I'm not taking any medication. And so at the end of that year, like no sign really of diabetes. Blood pressure has stabilized. Like everything went away inside of that year just by going raw vegan. So that was interesting. So that was phase 1 of the weight loss. Then in 2012 to 2014, I kind of fell off the raw vegan lifestyle. That's really hard to maintain for me anyway. It really limits like your social life, all of that. I ended up being kind of a processed food vegan, like a junk food vegan. For 2 years, my weight fluctuated between like 315 and 275. 2014, I met a trainer at church. He was like a bodybuilder, and he was like, oh, I want to help you lose all this weight, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll start working out with you. I also met somebody and got in a pretty serious relationship that same year. I worked out for 2 years. Literally 2 years. At the end, I was probably working out twice a day.
Wow.
Like working out hard. Boot camp on Saturdays, working out hard. I had never got below 210 pounds. Never. I had even cleaned up my diet. I wasn't eating so much processed food. And then this was like 2016, which I call the lost year. The guy that I was going to marry like disappeared off the face of the earth. I didn't realize I still was having a lot of unresolved like mental issues from my childhood and my past and all of that. So I stopped working out. I really fell off in 2016 and gained a lot of weight, alarmingly fast. And really fell back into depression, all of these things. And I had a girlfriend who worked in like the mental health field. And she was like, have you ever thought about counseling? And us Black folks, we're like, what you mean counseling? I'm not going to talk to nobody. I'm not crazy.
Right.
But it did get to the point where I was in such a bad space where I would go to work, I would throw up, I would lock myself in my office, and I wouldn't talk to anybody for the rest of the day. Like I was in a really bad space, not realizing that I was in a relationship with somebody who literally had a personality disorder. I didn't realize like I was going through abuse and I was repeating a cycle from my childhood. Didn't realize any of that. Finally, she talked me into going to counseling in 2016. Very interesting that as I started to deal with some of the internal things that were going on with me, the weight just started falling off again.
Wow.
So it was almost like really what was going on with me mentally and emotionally and spiritually was manifesting physically. I was using food and my weight as a wall, a barrier to deal with some of these things. And so I was finding new coping mechanisms, all of these things in 2016. So 2016 was just an odd year. Enter 2017, which was really the start of like this phase of my life. I turned 40 in 2017. I had lost this weight. I had found this renewed like love for life. For my 40th birthday, Chris, I decided I was going to go on a 21-day road trip by myself. I was going to go and mark all these things off my bucket list. People were like, you are crazy. What is a Black girl going to do? Just driving across the country, just hiking, and all of these things. Literally tent camping, hiking, all of this stuff. There were two pivotal moments on that trip. The first one, I always wanted to see Delicate Arch in Arches National Park. You always see pictures of it. It's like this iconic picture. And I said, I'm going to go see that. I'm going to go. I thought it was a side of the road attraction, I thought. So I go to the office. I'm like, where's Delicate Arch? They're like, that's a really hard hike. I'm like, whatever. I'm going to go see Delicate Arch. So I drive up and I see these people coming off this trail just looking like who done it and why. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm going to go see Delicate Arch. I'm here. I'm just going to go do it. I'm not trained. I'm just going to go. I've lost weight. I feel good about it. I can do this. Baby, let me tell you something. I get up, hard hike. I kept stopping. I'm out of breath, probably looking crazy. It's hot. I get to a part in the trail where it's literally 3 feet wide. On one side is like a 200-foot drop. On the other side is the rock face. I get there and I lost all my confidence. I'm like, you know what? I'm not about that life. I'm not doing this. And it was so funny. A man was coming down and he saw it in my face. I was getting ready to turn around. He was like, you know what? You can't turn around because it's just around the bend. It's just a few more steps. I was like, dang, okay, fine. So I'm literally flat against the wall because I don't want to see it.
Right.
Chris, when I tell you I rounded that corner and I saw Delicate Arch, it was, I can't even explain it. I think in my mind, I realized you can do whatever you want to do. You have complete control over your body. If you believe that you can do it, you can. It totally changed my paradigm. In that moment, I just started crying. I was a mess. People were like, what is wrong with her? But I was standing there doing something I never thought I would do and realizing in that moment that, dang, you have a lot more control than you thought you did.
Right.
So there was that. Second pivotal moment on that trip, I went to Idaho to a place called Shoshone Falls. It's the Niagara Falls of the West. I was sitting by the waterfall, just listening to the waterfall, and the thought popped into my head, you need to write a book. Just randomly. I'd never thought about writing a book before. You need to write a book. And the name of the book is Limitless. It's okay. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do that. Anyway, long story short, that trip really set the stage for what's happened since then. 2017, Hurricane Harvey hit. I was living in Houston at the time. Hurricane Harvey hit. I was working for the mayor's office in Houston. We ended up having to put the city back together, essentially. After that, I made the decision to move out of Houston because after Ike and Harvey, I was like, I'm not, I can't live that life anymore. So I moved to Arizona in late November, I think. And I got depressed again because it was just such a culture shock. But I fell in love with the environment because I could hike every day, the mountains, just beautiful scenery. I published my book in 2018.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That was just an amazing accomplishment. But I did. I found myself kind of depressed again. I was still hiking for about a year. Then in May of last year, so not even a year, I found a healthy alternative. And I started binge watching. I was like, instead of Netflix and chill, it was really a healthy alternative and chill. I started binge watching. I was like, water fasting. Like, what is this? Is this even possible? Am I going to die if I try this? All of these things. And I just fell in love with your brothers, their story. And I was like, you know what? All right, I'm going to try it. So I just dove in. Get ready.
Yeah.
Fast was 11 days. Fine, I'm just going to do it. Which was a great experience. It totally changed my paradigm about how often we need to eat, what we need to put into our body. All of it. It just totally changed my paradigm. And since then, I've been playing around with, 2 on, 1 off, playing around with OMAD. I'm currently on day 13 of a 21-day fast, which has been amazing. I have a ton of energy, which I didn't expect. I didn't expect that this time because last time it was a little lower energy. I don't know why I have so much energy this time, but I do. And I found that my mood has completely stabilized. My level of just optimism and all of it has completely stabilized. So it's been an amazing unfolding. It's been really, really good.
Absolutely.